Hello there. This is my part one in my video series, so welcome to Adulthood. Basically, these are PSAs that are designed for those who are 18, entering into college. Those who basically where you're tasting freedom for the very first time. And okay, yes, welcome to Adulthood. Freedom, not having to answer to your parents. You don't have to go to bed at a certain hour. You can do whatever the hell you want. Not all right. There's laws and things laws and rules you got to abide by. There's a lot of dangers out there that you haven't been exposed to yet. Things you have to know. And lesson number one, we're going to cover going into nightclubs. This applies to girls and guys alike. So you go into nightclubs, those can be very dangerous places. A lot of sexual predators go to places like that. There's a lot of music, there's strobe lights, there's disco balls, but not the light. The lights are not fully done. The bright lights are not on. The place is dim. It's a bright dancing, like techno type atmosphere. So there's a few things you got to watch out for. Number one, if you're a guy or a girl, always bring a wingman with you, or a wing woman if you're a girl. Someone who's preferably 24 years of age or older. You see, you're young, you're a freshman in college, you're away from home for the first time. Now, you don't have to be gay, but there are sexual predators who are gay who will try and prey upon you. Sometimes these guys won't take the hint. They'll come off as polite and charming. They'll sit there and push their way upon you. But the reason you want an older adult there is to sit there and subtly say, come here. And usually when you bring a wingman or a wing woman with you, they pull you by the arm and say, come on, let's go. That's hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Hey, I want to show you something in here. That's their polite way of rescuing you from a person who's a potential creep. So 9 times out of 10, if you're with somebody who's older than you, who's pulling you along, keeping you away from people, they're looking out for you. Nightclubs are very dangerous people. Can be very dangerous places. The bouncers are not always there to watch your back. They can't keep an eye on everything. So what you really got to do is you got to operate on common sense and use your instincts and follow the lead of the person who's genuinely trying to have your back. Even if you have a boyfriend, if you're a girl, you have a boyfriend, you bring a woman who's a wing woman. This works for sexual predators, all those basic problems. It applies if you're a girl. In fact, if you're a girl, you're more of a target. Another reason why you want to do that, even if you have a boyfriend, is bring her along with you, is if some guy hits on you and you don't want him to try and cause a fight between you and your boyfriend, that woman you bring along with you could sit there and kind of sidle in and hit on that guy and say, here, look, instant date. You can leave me alone now. Why? Because I brought a good-looking woman here with me willing to hit on you. She pulls him onto the dance floor, keeps him distracted, and what it gives you and him a chance to do is go out, get some fresh air. And if he's too drunk to sit there and use his senses, or he's just simply too overstimulated, because sometimes couples who are young, who are both under 21, go to clubs. When that happens, it's time to go home. 2 things: make sure your wing woman is okay, and she can get home safely, and make sure you have her cell phone number. Make sure her GPS is turned on, and make sure you make sure you take down the guy she's dancing with phone number. That way, just for safety purposes. Also, final thing: a lot of bars will serve you soda, juice, things you're allowed to drink, but that are not alcohol, and because all they have are beer steins, which got here is typical beer stein with water or whatever. All right, 9 times out of 10. This is something you'll be able to drink in a bar, which if it's water or soda or Sprite, but this is water, so this is for demonstrative purposes. You're drinking it. Tap water. Gross. One of the things you want to do when you're walking around and you're seeing people dance, is you want to sit there and cup your hand on top of the drink. If you see the music, you're bobbing away. Why? Because when you're walking along, it's crowded. If you're not paying attention like this, some guy could walk along and drop anything into your. Can drop GHP, can drop which is the date rape drug. You can drop Rufalin, ecstasy, angel dust, acid, LSD. There's a variety of different mood-altering substances that can cause you to pass out, or they'll sit there, slip it into your drink, discreetly follow you around, wait for you to pass out, pull you into the bathroom, and potentially rape you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm being realistic with you. So a lot of drugs are slipped into drinks like this. And also, if you leave your drink, put your drink down, and turn it back, and leave it unattended, you tell the bartender to dump that and get a new one. Because that's another time that they sit there and they'll slip things into your drink when you're not looking. So if you're in a bar, if you're in a nightclub, you have it with you, always keep it on you and keep your hand over the cup unless you're sipping it. If you have your friends huddled around you in the smoking area in the lounge area outside, which most nightclubs have these days, that's different. There's nobody near you. But if you're just walking around and there's a possibility of somebody walking by you and putting something in there is there, you always keep your hand over it. Why? Because if your hand is cupping over it like so, you just walk around like this. Two things. A, nobody can slip it into your drink. And the potential predator who's nearby who wants to slip a drug into your drink is nearby. It's always, he pretty much has already taken the hint. He's already sees you doing that and is taking that as a hint. Also, keep your eyes peeled. Don't get so caught up in the dancing and the motion where, pretty much where you're not, where it's, suddenly the guy will sit there, will bump into you, will pretend bump into you, say, oh, I'm so sorry, forcing your hand off that drink. So if your hand is on the drink and the guy is, you see, look around and some guy is doing this. That's, if you take a look, you look at for different body language, like shrugging shoulders, looking around, the guy's doing this. It's his way of sitting there trying to figure out how can I get her hand off of that drink so I can spike it. Also, if the bouncers give a shit enough, and if you run to a bouncer or a manager that actually cares enough to consider your safety, or the female bartender, most nightclubs, the bartenders are girls. For two reasons. A, the girl's hot and looks single, it sells more drinks. B, because it's actually safer for the girls to follow the tips of the female bartenders. They'll sit there and they'll say, come here, watch out for that guy. And if they tell you watch out for that guy, or they tell you keep an eye out or be careful, listen to the female bartender. They have your back. 9 times out of 10, they're dressed to look good and to be eye candy for the guys that are coming and buying drinks in the place. So these are things you got to watch out for. If not, a variety of different things can happen. Your drink can get spiked, you can get raped in the bathroom, you get beaten up, somebody could come in, hit on you, or, they could break up you and your boyfriend, and before you know it, your boyfriend probably will get the shit beat out of him by 2 or 3 different guys. These are things that can happen in a nightclub. So these are only a handful of safety tips that I covered. And I have a lot more things to go, and some of these videos I'll be making will be filmed on location, but this is part 1. Covering basic nightclubs. Anyway, now that you know that, show this to your friends. Apply everything I said, and please take it seriously because I don't want to see anything happen to any of you young people who are barely 18, who are barely freshmen in college. Anything bad happen to any of you? Hey, we all when I lived the nightlife, college, freedom, the whole 9 yards. Make smart choices and use common sense and pay heed to the warning of people like me. Aho.